116-48, the match against Angola. And Croatia beating Brazil by 17. But this is the test. This could be the nearest anyone gets to the USA.
And immediately, coach Peter Skansi of Croatia sprung a surprise in his starting five. A player of 7 feet tall, no one knows anything about. Svečaničan, the number 6, but that was Sir Charles Barkley opening the account of the Dream Team.
Barkley, who had a bit of a confrontation with one of the Angolans in the opening match and was told in no uncertain terms by Michael Jordan to cool his act, otherwise he would be in danger of being blown out. A lovely move there. There's the reply from Brankovic.
I'll tell you what, Simon, this is the NBA pros, 5 of them against 4 players who are good enough to play in the pros and one other. We have Drazen Petrovic, the number 4. We have the number 11, Stojan Brankovic for Croatia. And of course, 14, Dino Radja and Toni Kukoc could play in the NBA.
And a shot there of Toni Kukoc, who we reckon is the best player in Europe. Here's Petrovic. A bad move from Johnson. Petrovic should have made more of that. Here's Kukoc. In it goes to Radja. Croatia in front.
The crowd know they've got a game here. The only problem is that the Dream Team go all the way down to the end of the bench, whereas Croatia, they probably only go halfway. And was that a 3 from Michael Jordan?
Jordan announces his presence in the match. It was indeed a 3.
Bit of a surprise there on the matchups. It's Scottie Pippen taking Kukoc. Everybody expected it to be Jordan, but Pippen, the all-round, the utility player, has taken Kukoc. And there's a foul by Sir Charles Barkley. He fouls Dino Radja, and the expression on Barkley's face says it all.
General feeling about the referees that the ball handler in the States is protected much more than he is over here. But that off the ball in the NBA, they can do almost anything they like.
That's right. And that was one of Chuck Daly, the coach to the Dream Team, coach of the USA, one of his misgivings. The Prince of Pessimism has Chuck Daly been called, and one of the reasons for his pessimism is that his team are not used to playing international rules, and therefore obviously with international referees.
2 more for Radja.
Radja, one of the highest paid professionals outside America, and his credentials are such that he could play in the NBA. And look at that for a block shot. Brankovic carries on where he left off in Zaragoza, but Pippen hustles to get the rebound. The first shot was blocked, but not the second. It was a foul.
But Brankovic, look how pleased he is with that. And on the bench there, Peter Skansi, it really was something he'll remember there. Block shot against Pippen.
The block shot was Brankovic. The foul was the number 6, Danko Svečaničan. And a bearded Scottie Pippen on the line ties the scores at 6 apiece.
Pippen from the Chicago Bulls.
Very stoic looks on the bench there from the parade of American coaches. Coach Chuck Daly with assistants Mike Krzyzewski, Lenny Wilkins and PJ Carlesimo.
And a poor move there from Barkley. Got the rebound okay, but lost possession. And Croatia have made a terrific start here.
A slimmed down Charles Barkley. We understand that in his career he has been up to 300 pounds and now he's down to 250. And the foul well drawn by Drazen Petrovic. Petrovic, a pro with the New Jersey Nets, and Robinson at 7'1", number 5. He fouls.
Robinson with bad memories of the '88 team in Seoul. Remember, they were beaten by what was the Soviet Union then. One of only 2 losses the USA have ever suffered in the Olympic Games. The other, of course, that amazing match in '72.
Well, a lot of good hustling there, and the turnover from Croatia. Brankovic is the top shot blocker in Europe, and that's his 2nd one of the night, but on that occasion again it was called a foul. And look who he fouled again, Scottie Pippen.
But a wonderful move there from Michael Jordan, bursting through, everyone looking for the shot, and he dumps it off. So a match we've been building up for ever since it was announced. Looks as if it's going to bear fruit here. 6 points apiece. 2 minutes gone. Here's Pippen, of course. The Chicago Bulls, for those of you who don't follow the NBA too closely, champions for the last 2 years.
And Jerry Krause, the general manager of the Chicago Bulls, was in Zaragoza, and he was in there reputedly to be looking at one player, Tony Kukoc, who he reckons is wasting his time in Europe and should be playing with the best team in the world. And obviously the best team in the world, in his opinion, the team Chicago Bulls, the man who plays for them, Michael Jordan.
The richest athlete in the whole of these commercial Olympic Games, reputed to earn $32 million a year off court, and that's why that kind of exhibitionism draws the sponsors to him.
A mere $35 million, Simon, per annum. The foul, Pippen reaching in.
Larry Bird there, watching on. Bird, who's almost been overshadowed by the Jordan and Johnson show. Magic Johnson not starting, nor Larry Bird. Two fellas to have on the bench.
And Bird reclining as we watch the replay of that Jordan steal here, and with consummate ease, he even looks around to see where the defender is and says, well, try and block that one then. And Petrovic goes inside, has the ball ripped away from him, but retained possession.
Interesting that at the start, the Croatians have shown a lot of confidence, not frightened to strut their stuff and really go for it. No sense of them being overwhelmed by the occasion. Here's Jordan. Good rebound from Barkley, and draws the foul. Jordan, who only got 10 points against Angola.
In limited court time though, Simon. That is one of the problems that Croatia have. Whereas their opponents, their illustrious opponents, have 12 players and they can all play. They go a long way down the bench. That cannot be said of Croatia. 6, 7, perhaps 8, but certainly no further down than that. They've got some class European players, but 9, 10, 11 and 12 just can't live with the pros of the NBA.
Charles Barkley just transferred in the summer to the Phoenix Suns from the Philadelphia 76ers, who he'd been with since 1987.
The importance of this game, as far as the Croatian team is concerned, is that everyone is assuming they're going to get beaten. But if they do get beaten, they have to keep the margin close. If they can get out of this game losing by less than 20, then that will be a psychological boost to them. But if they get murdered, then when they meet again, or if they meet again in the final, then, well, they have a mountain to climb in psychological terms then. They have to keep this margin respectable.
Poor play then from Svetiganin. First he loses the ball, and then draws the foul, gets the foul against him rather.
What the Croatians need now is a little bit of control, and Tony Kukoc has just taken a breather, and he replaces that man number 6 you were talking about there, Simon Svetiganin. And I would expect to see Velimir Parasovic, the number 5, who plays for Pop 84 Split, come on soon.
New on court.
There we are.
New on court, Magic Johnson, there he is. First time he's been on court in this match. Played a little against Angola, and looking very fit indeed. And draws the foul there against Drazen Petrovic, who also plays in the US for the New Jersey Nets.
And of course, Petrovic next season will have Chuck Daly, his opposing coach tonight, coaching in New Jersey. Daly has left Detroit after winning back-to-back NBA championships and facing a new challenge at the age of 62 in New Jersey, one of the bottom teams in the NBA, and hoping to do something about their particular franchise. Well, it's got a travel by Magic Johnson.
Good steal from Brankovic, did really well there, but a slight mishap and the possession goes to the US. Jordan, and sideline possession to Croatia.
David Robinson contesting the rebound there. And look at that block shot by Brankovic. I make that his third. Of course, in Zaragoza against Italy, in the first 7 minutes of the game, he made 10 block shots, but it's certainly not Italy he's playing against tonight. The dream team, naturally enough, as everyone would expect, in a man-to-man, and a very, very tight man-to-man at that.
Komazet should have made more of that. Oh, what a move there! Magic Johnson through to Scottie Pippen. Fantastic.
You know, this tournament for the Dream Team is all about revenge. They're thinking back to Munich 72 when they were robbed in their eyes, when they were robbed of the Olympic gold. They're thinking back to Seoul 88 when they lost unexpectedly to the Soviets in the semi-final.
Again, a wonderful interception this time by Jordan. For Jordan and Johnson really beginning to show out now.
One of the things the Croats have got to do, they have got to play the shot clock. At the moment, every time they get the ball away, they're giving it away. Every time they get the ball, they're giving it away quickly. And I will expect in this timeout, Coach Peter Scansey will say exactly that. We're 7 down, and we're 7 down because we keep giving the ball away. We have got to use the clock. And the thing in their favor is that the NBA pros, they play to a 24-second clock.
13-6 the score.
Before Sergei Bubka jumps, he runs, he lifts weights, he does gymnastics, he cross-trains.
This programme is brought to you on Eurosport by Panasonic.
Magic Johnson, who many people think will play again next year in the NBA, maybe not for the LA Lakers. But he's shown here that he's very fit indeed.
Now let's see what Coach Peter Scansey has done during that timeout. There's an offensive foul. Now that will help the cause of Croatia. And have I spotted a zone out there? Well, if it is a zone, then that will pose some problems for the NBA. And of course, Chuck Daly has been expecting a lot of zones to be played against him.
Foul against David Robinson. Here's Petrovic.
That is what Croatia have got to do. They've got to be patient. Don't try and play the NBA, rather the USA, in a running game, because if they do, they will get annihilated. They've got to keep the ball, be patient, and wait, and hope that the Americans foul them, or just ease off on defense somewhat, most unlikely.
Patrick Ewing in there, member of the 84 team that won in Los Angeles. That's when he was with Georgetown. Risky pass, but here's Kukoc again. Very patient, perhaps a little too patient.
Now that's an NBA move from Petrovic. In fact, he is unlucky he didn't have a multiple foul called against the Americans there, because 2 players fouled him. He went up, he faked, and drew the foul beautifully. The foul on Patrick Ewing, and well, I reckon Michael Jordan was in there as well. Here we go, the replay. Fake, and well, was he fouled by 2 players? But only 1 called, and that was against Patrick Ewing.
Certainly Jordan hit him. So here's Petrovic. 3rd in the Olympics. And runners-up in 1988. Bronze in Los Angeles. His 3rd Olympic Games.
And Petrovic got more court time than any other player in the New York Nets this year. And a rebound by Vrankovic of the Boston Celtics.
And Barkley should have made more of that. Here's Petrovic. And he should have made that shot, knows it. Michael Jordan. And a foul there against Vrankovic.
Not a smart move there by Petrovic. They got a good rebound and he took a quick shot, and that was why Vrankovic committed the foul. He had a 4-on-1 situation there, and all he could do really was foul. And Petrovic has got to stop shooting on instinct. He's got to pass the ball around. He's got to consume the time. If they try and run with the USA, they're going to get absolutely wiped off the floor.
So here goes Michael Jordan to the line. Winner of back-to-back titles, of course, for the Chicago Bulls. And look at that. Jordan misses a layup.
And already Croatia in a 1-on-1.
Free throw, rather. And here come Croatia now. Here's Porasovic. No, in fact, it's Alanovic, new on. number 8, Vladan Alanovic from Zagreb. And Kukoc missing there. They're missing a few easy chances.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call that easy, Simon, because he had 4 players on him and the pressure intense. And look at that, another block shot from Vrankovic. 4 that I make it now. The stoic expression on the face of Stojan Vrankovic, the number 11.
Wonderful timing.
Shades of Bill Russell, another Celtics man.
Alanovic. Kukoc. Alanovic again. Just gives it away. And Charles Barkley goes over to have a word with Vrankovic.
And the nice thing as far as the NBA players here, they cannot transgress on the illegal defense rule. So they can sag in, they can sag off their man, they can help out, they can do what they want on defense. So no referee is going to call them for illegal defense. It must be like being let out of jail. No illegal defense against them.
So here's Barkley. Well, fair share of free throws being missed. And Barkley letting people know exactly how he feels about that.
Talking to the crowd there. The crowd knew that that ball came off Barkley's shins, and well, he's having a word with part of this 12,500 crowd here. And they're on court for the first time tonight, the Portland Trailblazer Clyde the Glide, Clyde Drexler. Barkley can't understand what's going on, just asking for clarification here, I think. My humble opinion, the ball came off the shins of the man on your screen, Charles Barkley, and he's been called a foul.
No wonder he can't believe it. Second foul against Barkley. And early on in the game, that's not what he needs, and not what the US need either.
24 points last night against Angola, and on court for the first time, Karl Malone, the mailman, the man who delivers.
Malone on, I think, for Barkley. But the US team put a little bit out of their stride there.
A huge man on the screen there compared to, well, I will use the word, the puny referee. Magic Johnson making the referee look positively diminutive. And this is Drazen Petrovic in a one-on-one. Well, how we got 2 shots out of that? I do not know.
Formerly with Real Madrid and the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, had a bad time with the Trailblazers, actually. I can remember, well, it was in the playoffs, and I think it was against Detroit. Drazen Petrovic playing for the Trailblazers, and I can remember a screen was set on him, and he almost had his head taken off by, I think it was Isaiah Thomas. And that's a rarity as well, a jump ball.
Alanovic and Magic Johnson. Who's your money on?
I wouldn't waste it, Simon. Referee Rigas just wipes the ball because there's a lot of sweat being exuded out there. And the Uruguayan referee, Felix Rakuba. And hit on the way up, which means that's a Croatian ball. Well, who hit it on the way up?
I think they've given it to the US.
Well, that was the only way Alanovic was going to win it.
Jordan misses.
And a rebound by Vrankovic.
Here's Petrovic. And Kukoc with time this time. And he should be making those. Kukoc is missing simple shots. Magic Johnson.
The key at the moment, Simon, is Drazen Petrovic. He's fired up, but the thing is, he wants to do it all himself. And he's got to realise that he's got some quality players out there. He's hardly got Dino Radja in the game yet. And the ball is being given away continually now, and Petrovic has got to keep hold of it.
And again, it was Kukoc, who hasn't had a great start. The player who many people think is the best player in the world outside the NBA. Missing with simple jump shots, giving the ball away. And he's got to get himself together. Chris Mullin coming in. Petrovic, who had a really good game against Brazil, scored 22 points and really ran the show, and he's trying to run this one too.
A rising star of Yugoslav or Croatian basketball just come on court, Arijan Komacek, the number 13, only 22 years old, and got a lot of good basketball in front of him.
Yeah, you better not say Yugoslav to these guys.
I think there's still quite a little bit of feeling for Yugoslavia out there, even on the Croatian team. They've seen some great days playing for Yugoslavia, and that's where they learn their basketball. And the great pity is that we haven't got the likes of Divac and the Partizan Belgrade players playing, Danilovic and people like that playing here, because Yugoslavia against the Americans, now that is a real game. Not to say that this isn't a game, because it is, but the Croats have just got to calm things down.
Yugoslavia runners-up in Seoul, beaten by the USSR, who'd earlier, of course, beaten the Americans. So the lead now 9.
Kukoc just taking a break on the bench, and I'm sure that Coach Skansi just telling him to calm down and give him about a minute or so, put him back in again. And there are hands everywhere. The NBA players, the USA, they get their hands into every single passing lane, and every pass is doubly difficult.
Petrovic, and foul called. Is that against Johnson again?
That foul was called actually against Drexler, I think, his former Trailblazer colleague. Now the problem is that Perasovic has been missing his foul shots, and when you have such intense defense against you, then Petrovic on the line, when you have such intense defense on you, then you have to just calm down on the line. And there again, missed the top of the one-on-one. He's been under such pressure, and that's why he's missing the top of the one-on-one.
So here's Johnson. Oh, an air ball from Johnson, a bit of an embarrassment, but stuck in by Drexler.
And what's more, Johnson turned his ankle then as well, I think. He's limping back. Yeah,
yes, he is.
He'll be asking for a sub anyway. I think it's his ankle or his knee. I think it's the back of his leg, actually. Yeah, he's clutching his calf there. And well, I'll be surprised if we see Johnson taking much part in this first half. And I tell you what, the Croatians cannot buy a basket at the moment. They've scored 8 points, and every shot is under pressure. And there's the right leg of Johnson, giving him some pressure, and he'll be replaced by Scottie Pippen or David Robinson by the look of things, or Patrick Ewing perhaps.
Looks like Ewing may be coming in.
Yeah, that doesn't look promising, does it, Simon?
And the reception says it all. Charismatic figure. And let's hope it's not the last we see of Johnson in the Olympics. It could well be the last we see of him in this match.
What a pity if it is. What a great ambassador for the sport. Every opposing team wants Johnson photographed with them.
Oh dear. Frankovic helping it in. They're not playing that well at the moment, Croatia. They started well, but just in the last 4 or 5 minutes they've let things drift a bit.
It's the defense. You've got to give credit to the USA defense. Their man-to-man is just absolutely awesome. It must be like, well, trying to get through a brick wall. They cannot get the ball, they cannot penetrate, and they can't get an open shot away. And a smiling Scottie Pippen, but definitely not a smiling Magic Johnson there.
Looks like it could be a ligament. Petrovic feeds out, and there's, I think, a three-pointer from Komacek, and they needed that.
And the rebound, Raja, a quality player as well with the Il Messaggero club in Rome. Petrovic, nowhere to go.
Jordan not having a happy time of it, and Petrovic puts up a very hopeful shot indeed.
You know, if I were Coach Skanski, I would take Petrovic out just for a minute or so and just say, look, this is a team game. Put Kukoc back in there, or even Perasovic, but take Petrovic off, because at the moment he's trying to do it all himself. Nice push there from Ewing, but he didn't get away with it, and Brankovic will have a one-on-one as the ice goes on Magic's knee.
I don't think he'll be coming back. Let's hope it's not the end.
Patrick Ewing just asking there, what did I do and what did I give away? And the reply came, you pushed, and it's a one-on-one. New York loves Patrick.
Been there for 7 years, drafted after he led Georgetown to the NCAA title in 1984.
And so many statistics come out of the NBA, but I seem to remember seeing one statistic which read that Patrick Ewing is actually paid a higher basic salary than Michael Jordan.
Yes, I think that's right. Something like $5 or $6 million basic salary. Not quite the same off court though. Only you, Roy, I think, mirror that kind of money.
Well, maybe not this year, Simon. Is that Pippen from 3? Pippen, such a utility player. You can't leave him alone. The man who can do everything. He can post up, he can play guard, and there he is shooting threes. And we have a travel called on Dino Raja. Faked with both feet and into the game for the first time tonight from Boston Celtics, Larry Bird.
Here he is on the NBA All-Star list. 9 times, Larry Bird. He replaces Patrick Ewing, being a little bit dwarfed by the charisma of Jordan and of Johnson. Not the same kind of charismatic figure as those two, but people who love their basketball know what he's meant to the NBA.
35 years old now, though, Bird, and when you've run up and down the Boston Gardens as many times as Larry Bird, then you can expect a lot of those injuries with creaking joints and bad backs, and well, what a great servant to the Boston Celtics and Indiana before him, Larry Bird.
Here's Petrovic, still on, still looking. We haven't seen Parasovic yet, and there he is for the first time, just been brought in. A long time they've kept him out there. Great rebound there from Malone. And here's Bird.
Larry Bird didn't take much part in the Tournament of the Americas in Portland, where the Olympic team, the US team, qualified for the Olympics. Look, another block shot. Was that Vrankovic again?
It was indeed his 5th. Komazec had a tremendous game, Vrankovic.
And I tell you what, Komacek had Bird beaten then for pace. He went past Bird as though Bird weren't there. Unfortunately there, good interception, but just before the interception, Parasovic, the number 5, had reached in and put another USA player on the line. That's Parasovic there, a loyal servant of Jugoplastica split, Pop 84 split, Dalmatia split, call them what you want, but he stayed with the team, whereas the likes of Raja, Kukoc have left.
And Vrankovic, who now plays for the Boston Celtics, went to Real Madrid for a while. Signed up as a free agent from Boston. Here's Drexler. 7 All-Star games he's played. So 26-13, just under 9 minutes left in this first half. Komazec, ooh, there.
Well, Komacek was fouled all over the court there, and the referees are not going to call that, then Croatia stand no chance. That was such an obvious foul, and it just wasn't called. And Komacek, well, he gets his just desserts, gets the rebound. This is Parasovic, but the rebound by Komacek.
And there, surely a foul against Pippen, but again not called, and the crowd giving the referees a piece of their mind. In it goes from Drexler. Good move. But twice there, the Americans a little lucky with the calling.
Yeah, if they don't need protection like that from the referees. They're good enough anyway. And yeah, we've got a technical against the Yugoslav. Coach, you can see it, and I don't blame that man on your screen, Skansky. He's just had a word with the referee, because at the moment the referees are letting the Americans get away with murder. Come on, Costas, you've got to give these guys a chance. Call it properly.
Petrovic there.
So we have a coach technical, which means that Chris Mullin is on the line for 2 free throws, and what's worse, his team will get possession as well.
Mullin, 28 years old, from the Golden State Warriors, originally from Brooklyn. Picked out in the 85 draft, just 7th on the list when he went to Golden State.
And Tony Kukoc back on court, and not an auspicious start from the number 7 for Croatia, so Let's see if he can improve on that start. 30-13 already, a 17-point margin, and still 8 minutes to go, and Clyde Drexler makes the margin 19.
Wonderful, off balance, leaning out, still able to get the basket. So the lead 19, worrying times here for Croatia. 32-13, Perasovic. And again the jump shot missed. Losing the ball too many times. Naglic, number 15, is new on.
Yeah, what Skanski's done is taken his stars off. He's given a couple of players a breather on the bench. He's taken Raja off, and he's brought Naglic on, Kukoc on, and just trying to give his players a little bit of a breather and play for the end of the first half. And that's a welcome 2 points there from Croatia.
32-15. And again it's Drexler. No, rather Malone gets the two. But Kukoc having a terrific move the other end just before that.
Foul by Drexler. Again, Petrovic has a one-on-one. The thing is, at the moment, Petrovic is well worth fouling because he's missing the top of the one-on-one. Drexler's second.
So he owes Croatia the first of these free throws. Oh. It didn't want to go in.
Skanski's smiling now, and well, perhaps that technical foul was worth it. Coaches often say, I remember Tom Wisman used to coach the England side, got deliberate technical fouls just to play on the referee's mind. Well, who knows?
Lead back to 17. 7 minutes gone. 7 minutes to go, rather. Oh, and a simple move there. And there's Karl Malone finishing it off in emphatic style.
The problem that Croatia have is every time they try and double team the guard is good enough to get through the double team and find the open man, and that's exactly what Scottie Pippen did then. A lovely move from Pippen, and Petrovic goes inside and again misses.
So many missed chances, and you just can't afford that. And look at Drexler there from way, way out, not far beyond the free throw line, and up they go.
Are they fired up or what? Perasovic.
Kukoc.
And Tabak almost gave the ball away, the number 10, but it came off the foot of an American player. Look at that wry expression on the face of the number 10, and this is Drexler going through and almost bringing the ring down.
So Kukoc. Petrovic. Kukoc and Petrovic really haven't played up to form yet.
There we are, foul on Mullin, and 2 minutes ago Kostas Rigos wasn't calling any of those, so perhaps the technical foul worked.
Cynical line, Roy, but may well be right.
Well, it often plays on the referees' minds. If you tell them what you think, then they'll give you a technical, but it does play inside their brain a little, and you might get the next 3 or 4 fouls called your way. Often happens.
Naglic to the line, 26-year-old from Split. Bird rebound. Here's Pippen. Bird again. Just a little bit of confusion. Oh! Would have been great if Drexler had held on to that.
That would have been the assist of the game so far from Pippen.
Petrovic allowed through, and again misses the layup. Drexler does well. Just a sense that the Americans are relaxing a little now.
Well, they've actually only got one player, I think, from their starting 5, or the 5 that started this particular game, and that's Scottie Pippen. So the bench needs some time just to get in there, and Perasovic puts another American on the line for a one-on-one. And what's more, it was his 3rd foul. Now, really, Skanski has got to take Petrovic off for 2 reasons. First of all, to tell him to stop giving the ball away, and secondly, to protect his fouls. He's on 3 fouls, and that is the time to take him out. And Mullin misses the top of the one-on-one, but the Americans get the rebound, and Bird commits a foul.
Well, there's a novelty.
And we have the long walk-up court for a one-on-one. Well, it's not the finger that's bandaged that's giving Magic Johnson the problem. It's the right knee that is heavily iced at the moment. Larry Bird just looks up at the scoreboard and sees that that's his first foul. Jan Tabak on the line for one-on-one.
Drafted in the second round by the Houston Rockets. But again, a layup missed. Oh, yes! Michael Jordan.
What a class move. Jordan went up and used the ring to protect the shot. Went underneath and used the spin of the ball on the glass to score 2 lovely points.
Oh, yes. And Barkley, I think it was again. No, Jordan.
Jordan again. And the fake in the air from Scottie Pippen. Pippen faked to pass off, and his momentum took him to the hoop, and didn't they enjoy it on the bench?
Well, it's becoming a bit of a rout here. Croatia, who threatened at the start, but not threatening anymore. They're being blown apart. Look at this, and are they pumped up, the Americans now? They're taking complete control.
That is the kind of intensity that is legendary.
Well, many people doubted whether they'd play as a team here, but that's the way it's been. Particularly now. Oh, look at this, they're enjoying themselves.
No 3 seconds? Well, that was 2.9 seconds inside the paint there. And Larry Bird from 3. And Petrovic gets a long rebound. This is showtime now from the USA.
Naglic, he's had a bit of an effect since he's been on.
But look at that long outlet pass for an easy layup for Scottie Pippen. Well, Croatia work like hell to get 2 points at one end, and then they surrender 2 very simple points at the other. 24 points the gap now, with almost 4 minutes left in this first half.
And all the damage really has been in the last 10 minutes. Yes, at last Petrovic breaks through for the layup.
I just hope it doesn't inspire him to keep trying it, because they're sagging off on him, and that was a rare occasion then for Petrovic to get inside. Jordan.
And again, wonderful.
The finger roll from Jordan. And you know, Kukoc hasn't scored yet.
Quite amazing. Petrovic goes for 3 points and gets them. Suddenly, he's playing like the man we know he is.
Well, Petrovic has got to be careful of. He's picking up that 4th foul. If he's still on court, and now at least he's started to play on offense, then he's just got to watch that 4th foul. Don't pick it up, don't get excited, Drazen. Just stay on court now.
Malone.
And rebound, Parasovic.
Kukoc. Oh, too smart. And odds on a basket here. Emphatic style. Scottie Pippen.
You know, as well as all the fantastic moves, the USA are obeying the basic basketball premise of keep it simple, and that is exactly what Croatia are not doing. Toni Kukoc, he didn't have to do the behind the back pass then. He had a simple move on, but he tried the difficult thing and they lost the ball.
Naglic. Yes. 3 more. Petrovic again.
And the steal from Petrovic. Another 3. Well, yes. 6 in 3 seconds for Petrovic.
Suddenly he's atoned for his earlier demeanours, but they're hardly on terms. 2 minutes left. And the crowd really getting behind the Croatians now. They know they've not seen the best of them. Yes, reaching in, Tabak.
Now that was unfortunate for Tabak, because they actually intercepted the ball, but they tried to get the ball away too quickly and rushed it, gave it away, and we had the foul. Look at this move from Scottie Pippen. The pass off there to Michael Jordan, goes underneath and uses the rim to protect the ball and spins it off the glass. It's often been said, but what a classy move there from the #1 player in the world.
Timeout to the Croatian team.
So Scanzi takes a timeout. The USA right on top at the moment. You'll be back with us in just a moment.
Panasonic television W2 and A2. Super picture quality. thanks to advanced circuit technology. W2, suede finish and beautiful European design. A2, the revolutionary dome sound system. Now see the drama and excitement in Barcelona with Panasonic.
Panasonic.
Peter Scanzi, the Croatian coach, not a happy man. It's not been a great half for his team. They've been soundly beaten at one stage, soundly thrashed by the USA. They trail by 17. And to the line, Karl Malone from the Utah Jazz.
Even at this early stage in the game, coming towards the end of the first half, Simon, I can't really see the Croatians winning this game, right? Now, that's a pretty obvious thing to say, but what they've got to do, they've got to learn from it, because this is not a gold medal match. It's not even a medal match. What they've got to do is learn from it and see what method they can employ to try and beat the Americans in a medal match. That's the important thing at the moment, and I don't know a Yugoslav, I don't know a Croat who will lie down and die. The man on your screen, the youngest man in the USA team, Christian Leitner, at 6'11", the number 4 comes on for the first time.
Petrovic, but trying to find ways of beating this team is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Parasovic, force wide, no, maybe a foul there against Leitner.
Yeah, nice move there from Parasovic. He spun his man, a much bigger man. Leitner standing at 6 inches taller than Parasovic. He spun him on the baseline and Leitner just kicked him out of court, so that's a one-on-one for the Dalmatia split player Velimir Parasovic.
Split now, not the force they were, of course, third in the league, but at one stage they were the team in Europe.
3 times European champions, and with the likes of Raja, Kukoc and Parasovic in there. But as you say, not the power they are now. But Parasovic hits both the one-on-ones, and if all his teammates could learn from that, then well, it might be a different game. 17 points is still the margin.
Jordan to Leitner, and he's been extremely efficient since he's been on, which is not what you could say for Petrovic. He's spluttered in bursts, wonderful at times, awful at others. Parasovic, yes, he's done well.
Quality player, Parasovic. Vastly overlooked player, and I can remember him winning a game down at Crystal Palace with 1 second to go on the clock, shot a 3-pointer to defeat Kingston a couple of years ago. So man for the clutch, and there's a foul call there on a Croatian player. Everyone thought it was on Leitner, but it was on
Arapoville.
The number 9 Arapoville didn't take part in the tournament in Zaragoza, nor did the number 6 Shveti Kaninin, but so 2 new players in this Croatian team, and on the line, Christian Leitner.
Arapoville from Cibona, drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in '87. He too played in '88 in Seoul. Here's Leitner. Both free throws. Johnson still looks pretty happy despite his injury. So the counting down now to the end of the half. Petrovic gets through, but again misses the layup. A couple more offenses maybe.
Another example there of Petrovic trying to force the play, kept his feet well, pivoted, but well, going inside against players like this, a little bit too much to expect.
Trying to prove too much in this first half, Petrovic. You can feel that he's been building up for this game all summer so far. Jordan. So one more offense. Korozec. Jordan anxious to regain the ball. Look at the effort he's putting in there. But a good ball in to Kukoc. And at last Kukoc scores. And that's a good way to end the first half for Croatia, who have played well right at the end of the half, and then a patch in the middle, but so many tight. So the half-time score, 54-37. And it's Petrovic, as ever, with the ball. Kukoc. Whoosh! Through to Vrankovic. What a fierce competitor he is. 5 block shots, remember, in the first half of Vrankovic.
Perfect pick and roll there from Kukoc. Faked the man up, bounced it inside, and Vrankovic had the easy job to do. But Jordan hits from the corner.
So the lead back to 17. Kukoc, Parasevic, who did really well when he came on. A bit of a walk there perhaps, but anyway, an air ball. Scottie Pippen. Jordan. And not much defense going on there.
Well, Raja did the smart move there, got out the way. Let Jordan have it.
Kukoc. Petrovic. Yes, 2 more from Dino Radja.
Now let's hope we get more of a game from Dino Radja. He's a quality player. Won a Croatia Cup gold medal this year with Il Messaggero Roma, and he can play a bit. And there's Vrankovic getting another rebound.
Had a terrific game, Vrankovic. Kukoc, oh dear. I think that was a little too fierce, even for Radja.
Yeah, those 2 young players, Raja and Kukoc, they grew up together playing basketball, and they've not played together since the 1991 European Finals in Rome. So it's understandable, but they're getting a little bit confused with each other now. Vrankovic, another rebound.
He's been the outstanding Croat so far. Petrovic. Parasevic. Trying to call a foul on Petrovic. Yes, good move in.
What a fantastic assist there from Petrovic. Now that's more like the Petrovic we know. He can play a bit. He passed that ball. That wasn't an air ball. That was a lovely pass to Vrankovic.
So the lead down to 15. Pippen. Ewing. Rebound. Radja. Different player so far. Now, was that a charging foul? No.
Blocking foul call there on Mullin. Mullin just deemed to be moving sideways slightly. Well, the referee gave Raja the benefit of the doubt there, and I'd like to see that from a different angle before I cast a real judgment on it.
My first thoughts were that perhaps it was a charge, but anyway, here's Petrovic, looking more disciplined at the start of the second half, and rewarded there with a foul against Michael Jordan.
Good isolation there, one-on-one. The Croats playing down deep on the baseline and leaving Petrovic to take on Jordan one-on-one. Picks up his second foul. A little bit risky though, because Jordan's got quick hands, and if he does steal it, there's no one to play defense.
Kukoc. And they're calling for a walk, not given. Petrovic.
And this time that is good defense from Michael Jordan. Made sure the referee knew that Petrovic dropped his shoulder, and Petrovic picks up his 4th foul.
Remember, one more foul and Petrovic is off, the chief playmaker, and on most occasions the chief threat for Croatia. Here's Jordan. Ghosts in. Mullin. Jordan. And a foul there on Kukoc.
Charles Barkley just calling the plays. Kukoc is 3rd. So Kukoc on 3 and Petrovic on 4.
Mullin. Radja. Nope.
What terrific defense on the fast break there. The Croats, they just couldn't get a clean pass away, and Kukoc couldn't get his hands on it because of the attentions of the defending player. That's the way to defend a fast break.
Barkley. Oh dear.
And for the first time, was that a 3-second call? It went out of bounds anyway, but all of the Croat bench stood up and shouted 3 seconds. The expression is the same in English or Serbo-Croat, and I personally thought that Patrick Ewing spending a long time in the paint.
Kukoc, not defended there. And a good dunk there from Kukoc. Beginning to fire now.
Well, the defense has actually stepped off, not as intense as it was in the first half, but still a lovely move, and that's how Toni Kukoc can play. And that is how Sir Charles Barkley can play. And believe it or not, Barkley, in most basketball annuals, reckoned to be 6'6", but he personally reckons he's only 6'4".
Whatever he says goes with me.
Not a man to argue with in a dark alley, young Charles.
Parasovic a little lucky to get a second bite at that, and a third, but does well, keeps composed after the initial mistake.
Interesting move there. Ball like a bar of soap somewhat, but it's 13 points, Simon.
Edging back in, but perhaps the damage has already been done, but 13 points is easily obtainable, but not really against this team. Barkley fades away. Again, good defense.
And that is illegal in the NBA, and that's what they're moaning about, you know, Simon. You can't swat the ball away out of the cylinder, but in international rules you can, and that's what Brankovic is doing, and that's his sole job at the moment. That's standing in the middle of the paint and blocking shots, but not that one.
No. The way clear for Barkley.
And the ice has disappeared from around Magic Johnson's knee.
But I don't think they'll risk him again.
I think they'll be silly to, Simon.
Even if this should get close, and it doesn't look as if it will, although Croatia are making now a spirited attempt to get back into it and make it a contest. And their big men have served them well.
Now this is more like it. They're playing the clock out and they're drawing fouls. That's Barkley's foul. Hands on hips. And, well, it wouldn't be Charles Barkley if he didn't contest the call.
But the big men from the Croatians, Radja and Frankovic, they've been the stars. I thought it would be Petrovic and Kukoc, although Kukoc is hardly small, 6'9".
Radja shoots an air ball. Petrovic hustled it, but to no avail.
Oh,
and there's
what a
Barkley
move.
On the end of the break.
Mullin back to Barkley. Fantastic feed off there. And the lead back to 17. Petrovic. Radja.
Stock move there from any Yugoslav team. Pick and roll, and when you roll to the hoop and expect it back again. Simple 2 versus 2 basketball, and in Europe, very effective. At this level, though, it was the final pass that let them down.
Barkley. Whoa.
Good hands there from Mullin. 6'8" player, or deemed, well, actually 6'7". Chris Mullin, the number 13, knocked the ball out of the hands of a 7'1" player, Stojan Brankovic, but didn't quite keep it. And just taking a break, Parasovic. He's done a good job, actually.
Really good job. Komazec is the new player on, number 13. Here's Kukoc. Oh yes, nice move from Kukoc, but just enough from Ewing as he went round.
And Ewing touched it on the way up, which is quite legal. Not allowed to touch it on the way down. And Kukoc very rarely has a shot rejected. And what's worse, Michael Jordan gets 3 from the corner.
So the lead up to 20. Petrovic. And a foul there. Is that another against Jordan?
That's another against Jordan, and Jordan just trying to draw that 5th foul on Petrovic. Petrovic living dangerously. That could have been his 5th, but I think it went against Jordan. And Malone coming on, and Drexler.
Jordan's 3rd foul. Very rarely fouled out is Michael Jordan, such a canny individual.
Remember, Simon, they play 6 fouls in the NBA, but then again they do play 8 minutes longer. That's why the 6th foul is there. It's all pro rata. Larry
Bird lying down, almost comatose. I don't think he's going to be on for a while.
No, he's got a bad back. He only played a few minutes at the start of the tournament, the Americas in Portland, and I think he played in the last game as well, but he had a few spasms of the back.
Jordan given a second helping. Yes, well done, Radja. Feeds out to Petrovic. There's Kukoc.
Great matchup there, Jordan against Petrovic.
Brankovic and the foul against Malone.
This is a real beast of basketball we're watching here, Simon. Look at the quality of some of these players out there. I say even on the Croatian team. There's a man on your screen there Brankovic plays for Boston Celtics, played all over Europe, and he's playing his heart out here, and he's keeping his team in the game at the moment, Brankovic, both ends of the court. And here he is on the foul line.
David Robinson back in from the San Antonio Spurs. Only player in the NBA in all 5 categories of statistics to be in the top 10.
Judging by that man, Chuck Daly, on your screen there, judging by his substitutions, I would say that John Stockton is still struggling with a fracture of the leg. That's why he's not been on court so far. John Stockton from the Utah Jazz, reputed to have broken a bone in his leg in the first game in Portland, and the only genuine point guard in the team. But that man there, Michael Jordan, nice 2 points.
Kukoc. Petrovic. And that time Drexler lies down trying to get the foul, but gets the ball instead. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Mullin trying a really flash move. And maybe the competitiveness is edged out of this match now as they've looked to take it over again, because that was really a showboating move.
Well, here we see the replay of it, and not a particularly well exhibited feat there from young Mullin. The pass off the backboard was far too high, and there's Tony Kukoc, picked up his 4th foul. And he's replaced by number 11, Alan Gregov, only 22 years old, another product of the fantastic Yugoslav treadmill of basketball players.
Yes, it was asking an awful lot of Michael Jordan, that off the glass. And not for the first time, Radja pulls the ball down. Kukoc.
USA still in a man-to-man. And Larry Bird still playing tough defense on Dino Radja. And here we have the well, Jordan missed it, but he was fouled. That famous tongue came out then in anticipation of yet another dunk. But Komacek made sure he didn't score.
Michael Jordan, of course, known for his gambling, and apart from his basketball and the money he earns, but the odds on this match were 7-1 against Croatia.
No mean golfer apparently as well, Michael Jordan.
He can play a bit. In fact, Chuck Daly said if he beat him up as badly as he did on the golf course 3 or 4 days ago, he wouldn't be starting here.
Has been described as the best athlete on this planet, Michael Jordan. And I don't think anyone would argue with that. Even if he took up athletics, I reckon it'd be a hell of a long jumper.
Kukoc.
And look at that, they've conceded the rebounds now. There were 4 Americans there rebounding and not a Croat in sight.
Oh, Larry Bird. Not the kind of thing that won him so many plaudits through the years.
Dare I say it, Larry looked every one of his 35 years then.
MVP 3 times in the league, 84, 85 and 86. Jordan tries to rob Kukoc. Does well. 2 more for Komacek.
Just like against Angola in their first game, the Americans applied so much pressure at one stage of the first half. The defense was so intense, and that really has been the story of the game. That is why there is a 24-point margin now. The Croatian team just could not do anything about that. And they're playing well now, they're sticking with them. It's 24 points, but the damage was done in that key 8 or 9 minute spell in the first half.
So they're battling now to retain their pride and their team spirit, which must have taken a bit of a mauling in those 2 key periods. Look at Radja. Great rebounding. Kukoc, oh yes!
That, Simon, was a pass. That was no accident. What a lovely pass there from Kukoc. That's class for you. He received the ball in from Radja, and the behind-the-back bounce pass was incredible. What vision from the number 7, Tony Kukoc.
He looks happy with a little sheepish look.
Look at this replay. Look at that. The behind-the-back pass
Wonderful.
to Brankovic. Absolute magic.
That really was something else. And even the Americans there, Drexler and Robinson, know they saw something a little special.
If they saw it indeed, Simon. What the hell was that, said Drexler to Robinson.
Here's Frankovic. Had a good game, particularly in the first half.
Oh my word, look what Daly's done. Okay, it's 22 points or so. Enough's enough, said Chuck Daly. I'll now bring Scottie Pippen on. And to me, Scottie Pippen, well, I wouldn't say he's the best player on the court at the moment, but he's playing such a great team game. Oh, and Robinson gets 2 points. He'll get a bonus. He's fouled. And Magic Johnson liked that one. Man on your left of the screen there, John Stockton, not hit the court yet. And obviously his leg not yet recovered.
But suddenly the emotion, the intensity has gone out of the game. You just feel that the Croatians now are settling for second here. Their time may well come another day. They could well make the final, and it could be these two in the final.
Yeah, one suspects it's going to be Lithuania, Croatia, CIS. Well, the list really has to stop there.
Oh, that was a bit lucky. And still they can't ride their luck. Komazec.
Robinson travel there, but not quite. He wasn't called. And Pippen to Bird. And Malone sweeps up the mailman.
And they're swarming all over the Croats now. This is in danger once more of becoming a rout. The lead up to 27. Kukoc, Drexler with him. Good move. They can't make it count. Pippen. Drexler.
Bird from three, got a lot of time and buries it.
And gets the nod of approval from the main man. 30 points, 9 minutes left.
That is a long, long time when you're 30 points down, and the Croats just looking, waiting for that final buzzer. Let's get this game over and live for another day. And Toni Kukoc trying to do the impossible.
Drexler. And no wonder Gregov just let him through there. And they look a little dispirited now, the Croats. The fire's gone out of them, and the heads have dropped.
Every pass being contested now. A nice one, Kukoc to Raja, and that's 100% shot, or high percentage shot rather. No one's going to block that one.
Bird again from way out. Not much defense being played. Kukoc, but can't finish it off. But they do get the possession.
Well, they were queuing up to score there, and all they've got out of it is sideline ball.
I think we're going to see an awful lot of scoring in this last 8 minutes. The last 8 minutes, I think, will be for the crowd. The match as a contest is over.
The Croatian team got within 15, I think it was. That was the closest they've got. Nice 2 points there from Komacek.
But they proved their point, the Americans here, against the team that many thought, us included, would be the #1 threat. On the day, they haven't been a threat.
And remember, this is all without Magic Johnson.
It may be different if they should meet again in the final.
That's the young lady who plays for the Chinese team, the Chinese centre.
She's 7 foot.
7 foot, something like that. Obviously, not in this competition, in the women's competition.
Kukoc. Blankovic. Yes, and it goes from Komazec. Playing more disciplined basketball again now, but the terrible time they had a couple of minutes ago seems to have passed.
Komacek can make a reputation for himself here. He's a quality player, and there he is with a good steal, playing excellent defense as well. Only 22 years old, Komacek.
Petrovic back on, and perhaps he can really make his presence felt here. Good move into Raja, and Vrankovic fouled.
One of the things I've noticed over the years about the Yugoslavs is that they're such good athletes, but they do get away with doing a lot of things that coaches tell kids not to do. One-handed passes, for instance, and that's the problem at the moment. A lot of these passes are one-handed, and that's why they're being intercepted. Once you commit yourself to a one-handed pass, you can't fake. You've got to make it, and that's why the Americans are intercepting a lot of these passes.
Brankovic to the line.
Brankovic is doing his team a great service at the moment. Reminds me of Rowan Atkinson, you know, on the line there.
It's the expressions.
That's right, yeah.
Slightly different build. So the lead 24 is
that's Michael Jordan.
And it was almost flat.
Back to 27. 26, it was only 2 feet on the line. Now remember, that line, that three-point line, is a meter closer to the hoop than the Americans are used to in the NBA.
Nice move. Nice move indeed. Radja. .24. The difference. And a foul there. Looks like it was against Radja. And Charles Barkley looks at him as if to say, you shouldn't really be doing that against me.
Even though Barkley's only 6'4", the man, Dino Radja, 6'10", fouled him from behind. This is Barkley again, defended again by Radja. Was that a travel? Well, got away with it, and Robinson missed the 2. Barkley didn't. Look at that, Barkley in 1 against 3 against Petrovic, Kukoc and Radja, and he gets the 2.
That's the intensity of the man, and the press conference afterwards, after the incident, he was at pains to point out Barkley keen to point out that it was the intensity of competition that enabled him to beat almost any man in the world on a one-on-one situation.
And there's the man on your screen, his 4th foul. I reckon he just bought that foul there. He said something to the referee at the other end, and while he was on defense, the referee called him for an off-the-ball foul, and Barkley smiles about it. Komacek on the line.
Plays for Kekizada, runners-up in the National League in front of Split. Been a couple of years on the national team.
I was speaking to the editor of the official FIBA monthly magazine, who is a Yugoslav, past president of Partizan Belgrade, about the way they produce these players. And basically their aim is to produce players at the age of 18, whereas in England he reckons we produce them at the age of 28, which is far too late. And Komacek there, perfect example, 22 years old and already a great accomplished player. And Brankovic, another rebound.
So many rebounds, so many block shots. Petrovic does well, very well, but look at that, Robinson it was.
And it was on the way up. Look at that, was that Brankovic hustling back there? In the audience there, Detlef Schrempf, the Indiana Pacers player who now plays for Germany.
Pretty relieved man he is. Earlier on today, they beat Angola by just 1 point.
Thanks to his 26 points.
Robinson misses, rebound again, Brankovic.
Well, the one thing that Croatia are going to come out of this game, I reckon, is the statistic with the best defensive rebounding performance, and that has to be Brankovic.
And just for the moment, the US intensity's gone. After really blowing Croatia away 3 or 4 minutes ago, I think they've proved their point and are now just relaxing and showing out.
And a smart play there from Charles Barkley. The moving screen just cleaned his man out and let Clyde Drexler have all the time in the world for a 3-point attempt. But it missed. And this is Kukoc to Petrovic.
Nice move by Petrovic. Kukoc.
The defense is still there, you know, Simon. It's stepped up a gear again. They can't get a shot away. This is Radja.
Yes!
Nice to Dino. And he smiles about it. Good man.
Well, they're in danger of losing this by a very long way, but they've kept to grips with the match. It's not been a contest, but it's not been a complete overwhelming. The worrying thing from Croatia is in the couple of key periods, 3 or 4 minutes that followed that were overwhelming.
That's right. They had a good 2 minutes at the start of the first half, but then for about 8 or 9 minutes, it was just intense pressure defense, particularly from people like this man, Charles Barkley. 6'4", slams, and Vrankovic actually got a technical foul in Zaragoza for doing that, hanging on the ring too long, but not Sir Charles.
Just have one more look at this, and I think most people would let him by when he's in that kind of mood.
You mean they wouldn't argue with him, Simon?
Tony Kukoc, another ridiculous ball in. He really is. I think he and Petrovic have been guilty here of just trying a little bit too hard.
Over tense. And Croatia have the ball out of bounds. Remember, Tony Kukoc drafted by the Chicago Bulls, but fancied Europe instead. And well, for $13 million, whatever that is in lira, then actually can't blame him, because he certainly gets 38, 39, 40 minutes on court for Benetton Treviso, whereas he reckons he'd only get a few minutes initially anyway in the first season or two for Chicago, and he wants to be on the court.
Petrovic to the line, where he hasn't had a lot of success so far tonight. And his run continues. If they do meet again in the final, he'll be hoping that his form changes.
Well, Petrovic has had a dreadful game from the foul line. I can't quite see what his statistics are, but they're not good.
Now, normally you'd be looking for 80-90% from the line. He would be very hard pushed to get 40%.
For a pro from the NBA, and you've got to be hitting 80 or 90, that's right. Barkley playing low post.
Letner, yes.
Letner, the big man, 6'10", 6'11" almost, from outside the arc. 3 points. Almost casual, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Into the last 3 minutes. Vrankovic. Radia. And asking an awful lot there of Petrovic. And that was asking a lot even of Michael Jordan.
Well, the margin 29 points at the moment, and is that Kukoc on the bench? The anxious looks, but no, it's not Kukoc on the bench. It's Petrovic going to the hoop and lays the ball up. Smart move. Excellent change of pace there from Petrovic.
Now, is Michael Jordan really going to give us the whole works in the end? But Barkley is. Barkley's been a big factor in the last few minutes.
Petrovic travelled there, but he wasn't called. He also bounced the ball back court. That wasn't called either.
Kukoc.
Kukoc loses possession. And Mullin from 3. They can all shoot threes, these guys, or at least they all try. And Petrovic gets the rebound. Showboat time from Petrovic even. They're all doing it now. Raja from the corner for 3. Misses. And Kukoc almost gets the steal. This is Drexler. Over the head pass to Barkley. The assist Drexler, the execution Barkley. You see the replay of it. Drexler over the head and into Barkley. Two-handed slam.
31 points, the lead, as we approach the last minute. Pippin, Mullin.
Mullin is fouled and will go to the foul line for 2 free throws. Fouled by the number 9, Franjo Arapovil.
Arapovil from Zagreb.
Coach Scansi scratches his ear, scratches his head. Chris Mullin.
Third in scoring last year in the NBA, 25 points a game. Wonderful record. So the lead 33, Kukoc.
Under a minute.
Kukoc again. Not able to get the layup. Pippin. Malin. Letner.
That's 35 points the margin. Now, will Croatia play for the last shots? There is no differential on the shot clock. That means that they can keep the ball and take the last shots.
Alanovic. Good move in. And it was Komazec. 4 seconds left. And they're going to rest on their laurels there. Off they go. And the USA have won by 103 to 70.
Magnificent performance there, both ends of the court from the USA. They hit Croatia with the intense defense that they are renowned for, and on offense it was like playing against a runaway train.
Mightily impressive. And Croatia live maybe for another day, beaten soundly.
This programme is brought to you on Eurosport by